When the 6th night arrived, Scheherazade turned once more to the king. Her voice was calm, but her words carried the weight of suspense. "My king, the youth who cried out before all the people did not falter. Before the caliph he stood, his eyes unflinching, his voice resolute. Again he confessed to the murder and began his dreadful account. The basket, the cloak, the piece of carpet. In fact, all that the caliph had found with her. So the caliph was convinced that the young man was the murderer. He wondered and asked him, 'What was the cause of your wrongfully doing this woman to death? What made you confess the murder without torture? What brought you here to yield up your life?' The youth answered,
'Know, O Commander of the Faithful, that this woman was my wife, the mother of my children, also my first cousin and the daughter of my paternal uncle. This old man, who is my father's own brother. When I married her, she was pure. Allah blessed me with 3 sons by her. She loved me and served me. I saw no evil in her, for I also loved her with fondest love. Now at the beginning of this month she fell ill, grievous sickness. I fetched physicians to her. Recovery came to her little by little. When I wished her to go to the bath, she said, 'There is something I long for before I go.' 'To hear is to obey,' said I. 'And what is it?' She replied, 'I have a craving for an apple, to smell it and bite a piece of it.' I said, 'Had you 1,000 longings, I would try to satisfy them.' So I went instantly into the city. I sought for apples, but could find none. I was troubled and went home. 'O daughter of my uncle, by Allah I can find none.' She was distressed. Her weakness increased greatly that night. As morning dawned, I went out again. I made the round of the gardens, one by one, but found no apples anywhere. At last there met me an old gardener. I asked him about them. He answered, 'O my son, this fruit is not to be found save in the garden of the Commander of the Faithful at Basra. There the gardener keeps it for the caliph's eating.' I was moved by my love for my wife to undertake the journey. So I set out and traveled 15 days and nights, going and coming. I brought her 3 apples. I bought them from the gardener for 3 dinars. When I went in to my wife and set them before her, she rejoiced at their sight and sweet fragrance. She held them close, breathing in their scent, and ate small pieces with great pleasure. Yet her appetite remained weak, and she could eat only little. Her illness lasted 10 days more, but knowing her wish had been granted, she began to recover.
Here the young man paused, as if remembering something that chilled him.
About midday, behold, a great ugly black slave passed by my shop, long as a lance and broad as a bench. In his hand he held one of the 3 apples. I said to him, 'O good slave, tell me where you got that apple, that I may get the like of it.' He laughed and answered, 'I got it from my mistress. I had been absent, and on my return I found her lying ill, 3 apples by her side. She said to me, 'My husband traveled far to Basra and bought these apples for me.' And she gave this one to me as a token of her love. When I heard such words from the slave, 'O Commander of the Faithful,' the world grew black before my face. I arose and locked up my shop. I went home beside myself with rage. I looked for the apples. Finding only 2 of the 3, I asked my wife, 'O my cousin, "Where is the third apple?" Raising her head languidly, she answered, "I know not, O son of my uncle, where it has gone." This convinced me that the slave had spoken the truth. So I took a knife. Coming behind her, I took her life in my rage. Then I wrapped her body in her cloak, then in a piece of carpet. I hurriedly bound the whole with rope. I set it in a chest and threw it into the Tigris with my own hands. But when I had thrown her into the river and returned home, I found my eldest son crying. I asked him, "What has made you weep, my boy?" And he answered, "I took one of the 3 apples which were by my mother. I went down into the lane to play with my brothers, when behold, a big black slave snatched it from my hand. He said, 'Where did you get this?' I told him, 'My father traveled far for it and brought it from Basra for my mother, who was ill.' He took no heed of my words. When I asked for the apple back, he beat me and went off with it. I was afraid lest my mother should punish me on account of the apple. When I heard what my child said, I knew that the slave was he who had foully slandered my wife. I was convinced that I had slain her wrongfully, so I wept with exceeding weeping. Presently this old man, my paternal uncle and her father, came in. I told him what had happened. We have kept up mourning for her these last 5 days, lamenting her in the deepest sorrow. She was unjustly done to death. This came from the lying of the slave. This was the manner of my killing her. So I conjure you, make haste to kill me. Do her justice upon me. There is no living for me after her."
The Caliph marveled at his words.
By Allah, the young man is excusable. I will hang none but the accursed slave. I will do a deed which shall comfort the suffering.
Then he turned to the Grand Vizier.
Bring before me this accursed slave. He was the sole cause of this calamity. If you do not bring him before me within 3 days, you shall be slain in his stead.
So the Grand Vizier went forth weeping.
2 death sentences have already beset me. In this matter, craft and cunning are of no avail. He who preserved my life the first time can preserve it a second time. By Allah, I will not leave my house during the 3 days which remain to me.
So he kept his house 3 days. On the 4th day he summoned the judges and legal witnesses. He made his last will and testament. He took leave of his children weeping. Presently a messenger came from the Caliph. The commander of the faithful is in violent rage. He swears that the day shall not pass without your being hanged unless the slave be found. When the Grand Vizier heard this, he wept. His children and all who were in the house wept with him. After he had bidden farewell to everybody except his youngest daughter, he proceeded to say goodbye to her. He loved this little one more than all his other children. He held her close and hugged her tightly. He wept bitterly at parting from her. Then he felt something round inside the bosom of her dress.
"Oh, my little daughter,"
he asked.
"what is in your dress?"
"Oh, my father," she replied, "it is an apple with the name of our Lord, the Caliph, written upon it. Our slave brought it to me 4 days ago. He would not let me have it until I gave him 2 dinars for it." When the Grand Vizier heard speak of the slave and the apple, he was glad. He asked his daughter to show him what was in her dress. She drew out the apple. He recognized it and rejoiced.
"O ready dispeller of trouble."
Then he summoned the slave.
"Woe to you! Where did you get this apple?"
"By Allah, O my master,
He replied.
I did not steal this apple from your palace, nor from the gardens of the commander of the faithful. The truth is that 5 days ago, I snatched it from a child in the alleys. He wept and told me it belonged to his sick mother, but I paid no heed. I brought it here and sold it to your daughter for 2 dinars of gold."
When the Grand Vizier heard his words, he marveled that the murder of the woman and all this misery should have been caused by his own slave. He took the slave's hand. Leading him to the Caliph, he related the story from first to last. The Caliph marveled with extreme astonishment. He ordered that the story be recorded and made public among the people. And what became of the slave? And the grieving husband? And the grieving father who would have died for his son? What lesson did the great Caliph draw from this tale of jealousy and injustice? Ah, but dawn approaches, my king, and that is a tale for tomorrow night.